right, guys, so today we're in 6.1, fractions, decimals, and percents. All right, so the first thing you need to know is that fractions, decimals, and percents are interchangeable, okay? And what we mean by that is basically they have the same value. Okay, that's weird. Hold on. Okay, so they're interchangeable. So 50%, pay attention, 50% is the same thing as 0.5, which is the same thing as 1/2. 25% is the same thing as 0.25, which is the same thing as 1/4. All right, so I know that in elementary, you guys probably learned your fraction, decimal, percent conversions. All right, so that part should be somewhat of a review for you. Okay, all right, that they're interchangeable. Okay, so, all right, this screen's kind of loaded with just all our different conversions, okay? So one way that I like to kind of explain the percent to decimal conversion. If I were to tell you that there's a 46% chance of rain today, what percent, 46% out of what? No. When I say a percentage, it's always out of how many? 100, okay? So to say 46%, that means 46 over 100. All right, now here's why we write it this way. I'm not going to make you write this step every time, but I need you to understand why you're moving your decimal the direction that you are moving it. Okay, so is this operation multiplication or division as it's written? It's division. If I'm dividing by 100, okay, this is the part that you might not have heard explained this way before. 100 is the same thing as 2 powers of 10, okay? How many times 10 would be multiplied by itself? So does everybody agree that 10 times 10 is 100? So 100, because it's 2 powers of 10, that's why you move your decimal to the left 2 places. That's why it's going to be 0.46, okay? So if you were dividing by 1,000, how many powers of 10 is 1,000? 3. So you would move your decimal to the left 3 places, all right? But obviously that's not our percent to decimal conversion, okay? Now, don't be thrown off when you have really large percentages or super small percentages, okay? You're still moving your decimal to the left how many places? 2, okay? Because you're still dividing it by 100. Think about it this way. And again, you don't have to write this, but I think visually it helps. 245 over 100. Do you think that that's a proper or an improper fraction? Improper. So that's why if it's more than 100, that's why you're going to have a whole number in front of your decimal. Okay? So if I move my decimal to the left, how many places? 2 places to the left. My decimal value is 2.45. Okay, 2.45. And that will happen. You can have more than 100%. Okay, so on the next one, we basically did the example of how it's in a fraction, but we're not going to do that step on this number 3. Okay, but we know a percent is out of 100, which means to divide, which means which way do I move my decimal? To the left 2 places. Okay, now here's what I need you to understand. You need the 0 out front as your placeholder, and then you have 126. But what is the one more thing that I need here to make sure it matches the percentage exactly? The repeating bar, the bar notation. 126 repeating. Okay? 0.126 repeating. Can a whole number repeat? No. Whole number can't repeat. If you make a whole number repeat, and you're going to see that in a minute, then it makes the number larger. Okay? So decimals are the only value that can repeat. All right, so now let's kind of flip the table. On 1 through 3, we wrote the percent as a decimal. So on 4 through 6, we're going to write the decimal as a percent. We're going to go the other way. So if a percentage means to divide to get to the decimal, what do you think you're going to do to go the other way? You're going to multiply by 100. You're going to multiply by 100. So now you're going to move your decimal to the right 2 places. So 0.05 means 50% or 5%? 5%. Okay? Not necessarily any work to show, just 5%. What about 1.25? Anybody think they know that one? Zoe?
125%?
Yes, 125%. Okay. And what about my last one? All right, my last one's maybe a little tricky. It's about as tricky as they get. Abby?
42%?
No. Destiny?
120%.
No. How many places am I supposed to move that decimal, Emily?
2.
Only 2. Okay. So my decimal is still in the percentage. So this is going to be 0.42%. Is that what you're going to say? All right. Very good. Very good. Does everybody see why it's 0.42%? It's okay for the decimal still to be in my number. I have to go by place value. I'm only supposed to move my decimal 2 place values to change the decimal to a percent. Okay? All right, now on numbers 7 through 11, I'm going to write the fraction as a decimal and as a percent. So I'm going to go fraction to decimal and then decimal to percent. All right, I want you to look at your denominators. Okay? How would I read this fraction? Y'all just read it to me. 7/10. Well, is the tenths place one of my decimal place values? Is there such thing as a tenths place? Yes. 10 is a power of 10. Okay? Powers of 10 are placed. I'm going to write the 7 in the tenths place. Do you see how I did that? 0.7. 7 goes in the tenths place. Now I need to change the decimal to a percent. But how many decimal places am I supposed to move it? 2, but I only have 1 digit.
Add 1.
Add a 0 after the 7. Ooh, just turned my neck wrong. Okay, add a 0 after the 7, and I get 70%. Okay, and you're going to box in both of those answers, the decimal and the percent. The decimal and the percent. Now, my next one, is there such thing as the 9ths place value? No, so you can't just put the 5 somewhere. You must convert the fraction to a decimal. How do you do that? You divide. 5 divided by 9. Now, I will let you use your calculators on the conversion. Okay? You just have to remember the numerator divided by the denominator. Okay? 5 divided by 9. Okay? What's 5 divided by 9, guys? Give me a repeating decimal. All right, 0.5 repeating. Now watch this, guys. How many places do I need to move my decimal out to change it to a percent? 2. So if it's 5 repeating, I want you to write at least 2 5s, preferably 3 5s, okay, and then write your repeating bar. This is important because you have to remember that your decimal needs to repeat. A whole number is not going to repeat, okay? So 0.555 repeating, the 5 repeats. What will be my percentage? Yes, 55.5 repeating.
Why did you put it up the end of the points?
You could have done it over all 3 of them if you want. But technically 5 is the digit that repeats. So once you put the bar over the 5, it just tells you that number keeps going. So either way would be fine. All right. Oh, don't forget your percentage sign. Okay. And we box it in. All right. Any questions on that one? Okay. Any questions? All right. Number 9. the 1,000s place value. Is there such thing as 1,000s? There is. So you can put your numerator in that place value, or you can just use your calculator and divide it, and it'll tell you the same thing. So 3 1,000ths. Oh, no repeating. Just 3 1,000ths. Okay? Now I want you to try to write that as a percentage. As a percentage. So 3 1,000ths, the 3 goes into thousandths place. All right. Trey, what do you think? What would this number be as a percentage? What do you guys think? It's kind of a tough one. Is it going to be 3%? No. What's it going to be, Daniel? 0.3%. You can only move it 2 place values to the right. So this is 0.3%. Don't be afraid of putting the decimal in your percentage. Okay? 3 1,000th is the same thing as 0.3 or 0.3%. What do you notice that's different about 10 and 11? What do you notice that's different, guys? They're improper, which means what are you going to have now in front of your decimal? You're going to have a whole number, okay? Going to have a whole number. You can still divide them, though, the same way. So just do 17 divided by 15. 17 divided by 15 to change that to a decimal. All right, and what do you get? 17 divided by 15. This one's a little tricky. Mikhail? Okay, does the 1 repeat? No. So 1.13. But how many digits did I tell you to write in your decimal to help you convert?
3.
At least 2, but preferably 3. Just go ahead and do 3. And the 3 repeats. Okay, that's going to help you write your percentage correctly. Go ahead and try to write your percentage. Once you have an answer, compare it with one of your neighbors sitting around you. All right, what did you guys get? 113.3 repeating percent. Did you guys remember the repeating bar? Okay. All right, what about 22 divided by 4? What did you guys get? 22 divided by 4.
550%.
5.5. Okay, 22 divided by 4, 5.5, which equals 550%. 550%, because I moved that decimal out twice. All right, how'd you guys do? Okay. All right, so that's everything you need to know for this lesson, just basic conversions.